for kids. They stop to develop their skills on the face of the imagery, and they are not getting into the symbolic form, symbolic phase of acquisition of the social as they used to. The symbolic is when through the language the person acquires the social order, the law, the prescription, and most of the important things which make an individual autonomous come into his mind through the symbolic order, through the long narratives, through the narratives which are transmitted by the authority of the figure of the father or other institutions which are supposed to form your mind in a social way. Okay, in Dufour's diagnosis, young people do not reach this phase of the symbolic, because far before that they get everything through the imagery, through images, through cartoons, through comics, through interactive video games, and through the interaction with the computer, but always with the visual interfaces rather than through much more effort requiring reading and following long narratives. So he somehow defines the Freudian the Freudian subject, the Marxian subject, the Freudian subject, which were typical for the modern identity, was more or less defined as the identity of the Marxian and the Freudian subject, and subjects which were supposed to have a super ego, and he is making a picture of the newer generation which lack this super ego, this entity of the social which is within us. With the desymbolization, newer generations are deprived of this strong social constraints which everyone should bring in his mind in order to behave and to construct his life projected in synchrony with the society and with institutions. So again, the temporal span of identity is reduced according to these authors and to the previous two. And a very similar criticism comes also from Jeremy Rifkin. Jeremy Rifkin, in his book The Age of Excess, the new culture of hyper-capitalism, where all of life is a paid-for experience. In this book, Jeremy Rifkin proclaims the advent of new type of human being, which is again with identity very flexible, very unrelated to what is he calls this the dot-com generation. Small but increasing number of young people who are growing up in front of computer screens and spending much of their time in chat room and simulated environments appear to be developing what psychologists call multiple persons. Multiple short-lived fragmented frames of consciousness, each used to negotiate whatever virtual world or network they happen to be in at any particular moment of time. So again, another diagnosis why the contemporary way of acquisition of knowledge are also bringing this fragmentarity of identity, this incapacity to engage in long-lasting projects. So, to return to the semiotic model of culture after we have seen these four critical approaches to contemporary identity, I would conclude saying that knowledge, the way contemporary generations with intermediation of internet are acquiring, is lacking the general picture. So the printed culture, the culture before the advent of internet, was culture encouraging kind of erudition which keeps something more general in the minds of young people. Eco calls this partial dictionaries. So yes, the culture in its integrity is a rhizome-like, but the normal, the ecos interpreter was the one supposed to have big portions of encyclopedia in his own mind, and thanks to this big portions of encyclopedia, to have always a general picture, to have categories, to have, he called it local dictionaries. In every field of competence we were elaborating local dictionaries, and these local dictionaries help us to be adequate, to be more competent and better interpreters in certain field of activity. Whereas internet makes not necessarily for the understanding of text, but for an entirely new approach to reading, keeping these local dictionaries in our minds. Actually, now every concrete information is at hand, and in the minds of this newer generation of the youth is kept only the know-how how to obtain this concrete information. So this it's obviously a reason for identity to work in a completely different way, and the construction of the life projects and the narratives which are relevant to one's own existence are, in consequence of this, much more fragmented and much more incapable of engaging of long-lasting projects, and with long-lasting, after all, a long-lasting social, an agenda of society which requires a long-lasting commitment. This is lacking now. So the political, the social, all these fundamental institutions in Western society are menaced because of these new ways to proceed knowledge and culture. I think this is the general frame. Of course, the written text is much better. I will provide the link to it, and I will be happy also to answer some questions if the internet connection allows. Thank you very much.